All right, and we are live. Hey, welcome to Talkin Doctrine. Thank you for joining us this evening. Tonight we have the 11th episode of Monday's Milk. And tonight I want to start off with we need some prayer requests. Prayers lifted up. We have some prayer requests. First, Daniel is still in the hospital. We know what's wrong with him now. It's something wrong with his stomach, actually, where his stomach is like paralyzed. And so he's okay. There's no infections. Everything seems to be working out other than that. But the issue is going to be something he's going to be dealing with for a while. So he needs prayers. But Lord willing, we will be hearing from him back with us maybe Sunday. I'm not sure today. We'll see when he actually gets released from the hospital, but please keep him in prayers. And then Jason isn't able to join us this evening because he had something go on with his dad with medical issues. So please pray for Jason and his rest and for his dad to get healing. His dad seems to be okay. Now is just a rough day. So please keep them too and their families in prayers. And also my stomach's been upset today, so please throw a couple up there for me as well. And I do want to start out and say I apologize about New Moon Tunes. Got rescheduled for today because I was exhausted yesterday. And then today I wasn't feeling well enough to get started earlier. So if the Lord wills, we're going to have New Moon Tunes 2 days later. So hopefully we could do it tomorrow evening. Daniel is not going to be able to do the Bible study, of course. And the Tuesday's testimony, we might just go ahead and just wait till next week until Daniel gets back, and we'll probably just go ahead and do our New Moon Tunes tomorrow evening. Now, also tomorrow afternoon, we have an impromptu conversation with somebody from that came across at the chat room of the Church of the Eternally Secure, and talking about, true saints hate sin. And so asked them to join me on air, and they gladly accepted. So tomorrow around 4, I think, 4 Central, look for a conversation between me and Sparta something. It's Italian for Sword of the Lord. But I do not know if I'm speaking to a gentleman or lady, because the name is so gender neutral. Might be fluid, but no, I'm just kidding. So Jason isn't able to join us this evening. And, oh, you know what? I didn't do the email notification. Hold on, let me hit send on that.
I thought you were about to say, "Oh, I didn't click live."
Oh no, I've actually hit live and went for the whole introduction mute, but I just noticed that Jessica commented in the chat room, and she's the only one on the Bible study list. So I was like, oh, I guess I don't need to send that one because she's already here. But I needed to send out the other one, so it's sent. But so don't have Daryl with us, and as you can see, Bryce is able to join us. So we're gonna have a conversation, see what Bryce has been up to. He sounds pretty excited with some of the things that have been going on with his college years, and so we'll touch on that a bit. See where the Lord leads with conversation between the panel here in the chat room. So, if you guys have any questions, we would like that if you're going through your Bible reading and um, something comes up that you want a little clarity on, or you want to have a discussion about, you know, keep them to write them down and keep them for the Monday's melt. So if you guys have any of those, get them ready in the chat room and just let me know. And other than that, I was going to let Bryce say hello, and then after that, Daryl has just joined us, so he can say hello as well, and then we'll start with Bryce's story. So, Bryce, why don't you just say hello to everybody first?
Hello to everybody first. You should also do, if they have questions, they can just put banners up, I guess, and you could read them out, because I can't do like Hangouts and YouTube on the same phone, or it'll like mess up.
Right, I hear you. And on that, hopefully all you guys know about the banner, maybe not. But if you hit the @ symbol, and I don't even know if you have to hit the @ symbol, but if you type in Talkin Doctrine and try to do and make sure you do the TOO, it'll put this banner here, and it makes it really, really easy to see. So before I throw it over to Daryl, I'll say hey to Mark, Laughing Splat, Laughing Splat. It's pretty funny. Matthew Kelly, hey Kelly, he's disappointed. I guess you just got back here. I already said right at the beginning. We'll probably do the new moon tomorrow afternoon. I've been feeling under the weather and really was fighting everything I could to have this broadcast. So hopefully we'll be able to get it done tomorrow in the evening time, pretty early evening. So Brenda, good to see you, sister. Jessica, saw you already. DHG. I forgot that I told you I was gonna go unblock you. But I did. I guess you remember or you saw. Mike, good to see you. Other than that, I think that's all we got in here right now in the chat room. So Bryce, you're in the chat room. You already said hello to everybody, like a movie, like that
I was, but I'm out now because I can't do both. So you got to keep an eye on it for me.
Right. Well, Mark's got the banner. He got that. So Daryl, how are you, brother? Haven't talked to you since last week. You doing all right?
Yeah, actually, I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Sounds like I'm better than you. What's going on there? You got some cold or something?
No, it's just belly problems. Hopefully with a couple pills. Almost gas is, I think, the problem, but it hurts. So
Oh boy.
it's what's that?
Oh boy, that's not good.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how air bubbles can actually cause so much pain.
Yeah.
Funny. It'll be funny tomorrow. It's not so funny today. But any news on your the coworker you've been talking with, and then our close friend Mike, who's in the chat room today. Any I don't want to say news, but any new things?
No, not really. except that we hired more people at work, so it's crazy. We got 2 brand new people today or yesterday, today, and so that's 12 people in the last 2 months. So there's plenty of people to talk to about things. So I'm kind of weeding through them slowly as I'm working together with them, and that one that was given or that was brought, that was actually, he is a believer. He's very young in his faith, but it's nice to have somebody that's on board with me, and he's bouncing ideas off me, which is nice. So no, that's going okay. And the other guy, where I went to his house, he wants me to come over again very soon. He's retiring soon, so but yeah, he wants me to come over again. So that's about it there. And yeah, that's about it. Bryce was saying, or you were saying Bryce has some exciting news. We'll let him go. How you doing, Bryce?
See, yeah, what's up, Daryl? Matthias hyped stuff up so bad, but
No.
it's like not. It's not exciting. I think exciting is the wrong word to use. Just that I have a lot of stuff from today, I guess, to say. I wouldn't say it's exciting, but it's
Well, when it brings you, no. Maybe I was putting my words into it. But you, off air, Bryce was telling me how much he sees the blasphemy just everywhere and the attacks against God. And for me, knowing that that's one of the things that God does as he's opening eyes and making things really clear, it's exciting. It really is. So
I gotcha.
Hearing you and your understanding of how the world works is not coming from yourself. It's coming from scripture and God giving you the understanding of how it works in the world.
I guess this is where we can like go ahead and start off, because like I got to look at it from both ways right now. I'm so like, I know like so little, and I can only go off of what I like believe, but there's that word again, not fully persuaded on. So I can only like lean towards something a lot, and it's like scripture seems to be pulling me directly its way whenever I see all this in the world. But like I guess I can't be certain about it yet, if you know what I'm saying. And maybe that's like not what you guys want to hear, but it's I'm not trying to rush anything.
Well, no, dude, you're, for one, you don't act like your age. And that's usually a bad thing when people say that, but that's actually a good thing in this case.
Let's go.
And two, the fact that you have come to the conclusion that you're not trying to push or force God, you just want to know Him. That's something that most adults, their pride and just wanting to do it now, be it their decision.
Yeah.
And if they stay in pride, they're going to end up in hell. So, no, you got like 2 for 2 there. So, no, you're good. Just keep going. I don't want to boast you up or puff you up, but I'm just saying don't
Kiss my
stop.
ring.
Well, no, just keep going on what you're doing.
Yeah, I hear you. It's a big difference. It's like I keep saying the same stuff in every broadcast. It's just like it just becomes more real, I guess, each broadcast. So that's why I use the same words. But like giving up is just like, I don't know, it's kind of like taking a weight off your shoulders. But then again, like it gives you time to like, the world really slows down, and 18 is a fast paced year, like where you just want to do stuff, and do stuff. And it's weird because I have like, that's most of my day is just fast paced. But then there's some times when I really am convinced it's God who just slows down my day and makes me think about just like things that matter. And I read a verse in Second Corinthians that just like stood out to me so much over the past couple of days, saying something about looking towards the things which are like something like the things which are seen are temporal and the things which aren't seen are eternal, and we should be looking towards like the things that aren't seen. And it's just those times when my like the whole world's in slow motion and I'm just like, I use the word in my own head, but Jason's gonna listen back to this and get mad at me. But like, I really just zone in on like what everything's about. I guess you can put it that way, and it's you just start. I don't know. I call it understanding, but it's just seeing the world. It's like taking a break, and everybody else is just living life, and you're like standing back just watching everybody, even yourself, and you just like think about from a third person perspective just about the world and stuff. It sounds psychedelic, but it's not. I don't use drugs, people.
Yeah, it doesn't sound psychedelic at all. It actually sounds like um, self-examination.
In a way.
And uh, I, yeah, I'll leave it at, I remember doing the same thing. So
Gotcha.
I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, dude, that's good. God, that's reasoning with him. And as long as you're doing what you're talking about and directly, personally talking one-on-one with God, like you're talking with us right now, um, you're doing the right thing. Keep it up.
It's weird because I've been like hearing so many different like kinds of perspectives on just like everything and just like reality, and one of them, the most most recent, and I think is pretty out there, but it's, I got to consider all my options here. It was I don't know, it was that same dude that did he put another video out, the same guy that did your rockumentary about all the bands and stuff. He did a video on the Da Vinci Code, and it was called like Hollywood's War on God, and he gets into like I forget what they're called, like it was like the Gospel of Judas, but it was called like a certain thing. It started with a D, I think, but it was the whole idea that the God of the Bible was one of a bunch of other gods, and they got mad at him for some reason, or he got mad at them. So he went off, he created Earth, and Satan is really like the good guy. It all points back to every other religion, points back to Satan being the good guy, except what you guys preach. But anyways, this one says Satan's the good guy, really trying to enlighten Adam and Eve about who their God really is. But it doesn't really make any sense because that God still created the serpent. So how could the serpent rat out somebody who created him? It's got holes in it, but it's, I got to consider the most crazy possibilities. So I've been just calling, because apparently, according to that, there were a bunch of gods, and the God that created the world, like, got mad, or they got mad at him or whatever, and he did his own thing, making us. So I haven't even been saying, like, God, thinking of, like, in my mind, directing that thought towards the one that created Earth. I've just been
Okay,
calling
wait,
God.
wait. Where did you hear that though?
That dude that made that video, the same guy that you had the
But he was not promoting it, was he?
no, he wasn't promoting it, but he was talking about it. So that's like the first time I heard it.
Okay, but that's straight up Luciferian.
It sounds like it. Yeah, I agree.
No, no, I'm right, right. No, it is like that's you like Luciferian is the straight up religion that uses the Bible with a
Makes good sense.
backstory. Well, with a backstory to try to use it against itself, but it can't. The Bible
Yeah.
can't be used against itself. It's got to go into the demiurge and stuff. They got to make stuff up. But the full story of Luciferianism is hidden in uh, most denominations in one way, shape, or form. Like Mormonism believed Jesus and Lucifer were brothers. Well, that
Yeah.
comes straight from Luciferianism, where Sophia is the god who created Jehovah, and Sophia created Lucifer. In that, supposedly, in that Luciferian.
I think that's the name that guy mentioned too, Sophia. I remember something about that.
Yeah, well, and what's funny is that we've got the AI robot uh, mouthpiece,
I know
and
where
so
you're going.
um, it's all connected. It's all
That's a
connected.
very good comparison. That's creepy thinking about, and that thing's creepy looking at. I think I saw a video like 2 years ago with Fallon talking to it, but that thing's creepy. I've just been praying to whoever's first. I've just instead of saying God, like I switch like in my mind, either saying God or just saying whoever's first. Like just first, I'm praying to you, whoever's first. If you made the God that made this world, okay, I'm praying to the first one. I just want, I want reality.
Right, but that's not gonna work.
What's still, it's still if the one that created this world is the first God, I mean, by first I mean only, like the original, and that happens to be Jesus just as well. I'm not saying I have a problem with it. I just want the first of the first. I'm not saying I personally believe there's more than one. I personally believe everything that you believe, Matthias. The only difference is I'm not fully persuaded, so I can't bank on it. I can't rest in it. So I can only go with what I'm betting on, but what I'm leaning towards. But as far as like knowing that I know, I can only pray to whoever's first.
I
If it's
mean,
an
I
option.
I hear you. I hear you.
I know you say that when you don't agree with somebody.
Well, because it's practically calling on the Luciferian God, which is just a straight up principality. So that's why it's that's. I
If
mean,
I'm praying to the original,
God's gonna keep you protected, no matter what. Oh, and that's cool, right, Daryl?
didn't even say anything.
All right. No, I know. I was talking to Daryl from. Yeah. Um, but the I mean, you're fine with that, but I do want you to realize that it is. I mean, I was calling upon straight up aliens right before I got saved. I was saying, aliens, I know you're real.
How early is right before?
6 months.
Dang.
No, no. Before I got saved, no. 6 months before I started looking into the Bible. Sorry.
Like, I just can't say I really know anything.
Well,
But what I believe,
where are you in your, well, believing is knowing.
well, no, because you said there's two kinds of believing, and one doesn't save.
Well, there's more than two kinds of believing in that case then, but biblical belief is knowing. The only one that saves is knowing. But the where are you in your reading?
I've been a little back and forth. I'm pretty much on John 6, but I've also been in Ecclesiastes a little bit, and that's been helping me out a lot with the whole, just seeing how pointless everything really is. Like, I went to a Carolina game last Saturday, and or wait, it's Monday. Like, I'm saying that like Saturday so long ago. But I went to the game Saturday, and just Georgia was playing us, and they were playing on our turf. So a lot of Georgia, since it's not far, a lot of Georgia fans were there too. And just like and I'm screaming too, I want Gamecocks to win, but just like zoning out in the stadium and just seeing 85,000 people just cheering like crazy. These people on like these other people. It's just funny thinking about. It's funny and it's sad, but it's like people are nuts. And it's those kind of moments where I zone out where I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing with ourselves? But
I hear you, but there will come a point to where uh, you can enjoy it again, and you won't. I mean, you'll pray for all of them, but it's not like it's as long as you don't make it an idol like a lot of the lost people do, there's nothing wrong with it.
Speaking of idols, I was playing this Kiss pinball machine at the restaurant that I ate at tonight, a little like bar place before I headed over to Keith's after I got out of school. So that was interesting, going back to my former idols
Did you
and
say
trying.
Kiss?
Yeah,
Yeah, me too. I would love to have one of those pinball machines, but not so much anymore.
it's
Well,
interesting.
right. Well, did you still got all your Kiss stuff?
Yeah, it's in the other room though. I tore it down before I tore it down before, like, I've got a bunch of sports stuff in my room now. The only reason I tore it down was because it was kind of like, my friends always bash me about it because they're, like, I'm quote unquote an old soul and I only listen to old music, and that's all I've been doing since like the fifth grade. Old sports too. And the guys always bash me for having grown men all over my wall. And I wish I had a picture. I only have one left, but it's like three corners of my room, and there was not like an inch of the wall showing. Everything was a poster. It was all vintage, and my room probably cost like, I didn't even show you this when I showed you that other room. I had my uncle make me a big, like, because Kiss was famous for having a giant like sign behind them. They were the first band to kind of have their logo up, and they had lights in it. I had my uncle make me a sign with lights on it, and I had that in my room. But there wasn't an inch that wasn't covered in a poster, some sort of old Kiss memorabilia. But that all went, and now there's a bunch of sports stuff. So technically, it's still idolatry in a way, but like, I'm not. It's just a room to me. Like, I could tear that stuff down instantly, and I had my Joe Green picture fall from my, like, behind my bed like a year ago, and I haven't even gone under my bed to pick it up and put it back up because I don't care about having it up. But all the stuff in my room, like most of the Kiss stuff, is signed and stuff, and it's cool. Like, once you buy it, but now I'm just sitting back like, why do I care that I have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's autograph on my wall? I really don't.
Uh, right. Um, but like, uh, you're going through a bunch of changes right now, so
In a way,
it's
though, I
kind of
already did. Like, but I don't know. Like, this whole thing happened 2 years ago. The whole, like, noticing all the blasphemy and stuff and cutting back on it, because it's just like after hearing it all, why would you want to? Like, now that you know, and just like the whole conviction of stuff and seeing stuff from a different perspective. It happened 2 years ago, but now it's happening, like, I don't know. I say for real, but I don't know what went wrong last time, aside from, I guess, talking to God, talking to you guys like you guys are God.
well. What happened in school today?
I got to backtrack way back to 8 o'clock in first period. Okay, so first period, all it was my teacher. That's who I told you or told Paula. Claims to be Christian, but and I'm not saying she she blasphemed God's name. That proves she never was a Christian. But it's like, that was just the first thing I noticed in the day. Then I had a girl. It's biology, and then it's lab, and they're like right beside each other. It's the same class, meets in both. So I had a girl that sits beside me in lab who was, it was just a normal day until, because we were talking about like extinct animals or whatever, because we got to do a project and pick an organism. Anyways, she said something. I don't know who brought it up, but she's like, honestly, like, how do we even know, like we don't even know like God exists or anything. And then she went off and talking, but it's just like stuff like that just catches me off guard. My like mind, like my eyes go in the back of my head, and I just start thinking about that one phrase, and I can't get out of that moment. Like, while they're carrying on a conversation, it's still fresh in my head. But it's just noticing people doing little things. Uh, English. English is a crazy class. Everybody, I'm telling everybody that. I feel like I'm talking to just you two, but I keep forgetting everybody's listening. Hey, everybody. English is crazy, and it's really like left leaning like real left wing. I'm like the only, I think I've said this before on the stream, I'm the only like white boy in my class. We got a Mexican guy and an Arab guy, but that's the only other guys with a whole bunch of girls, both black and white. But I'm the only white guy in my class, and everybody is very, like, I don't know every single person, but everybody I've heard from is very like left wing. And I don't want to say I'm like this big conservative guy. I'm not even into politics that much, but it's just my views are very, not very, but mostly like conservative, because most of the stuff I see in the world today is like real free spirited. It's like what happened to the hippies in 69 after Woodstock. Well, they had grandchildren, and here they are growing up with me. And I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm an outcast in my English class. And so this is the most 2018 thing I've ever thought about. But in my English class, for the weirdest reason, if anybody listening to this discussion tonight knows what a meme is, it's like a picture with something funny captioned on it, and it's supposed to get a quick laugh or something like that. And our homework was to find one and analyze it and like figure out, like, if you guys know what pathos, ethos, and logos is, you had to use like these rhetorical strategies. If I'm boring you guys, it's almost over. Because I'm tired of it too. Anyways, the first picture that we pulled up, the first quote unquote meme that was put up on the smartboard, was from the Arab guy in my class. And I already know like two of the girls are atheists in the class, and this dude pulls up the first picture, and it's, what was the guy's name? Who played the first Superman? Was it like the 1978 Superman? Was his name Christopher Reeves? If you guys know.
I I don't know. I think that's him. Isn't that the guy who
I
broke
just
his
want to make
neck
sure
on the horse?
yeah, yep. I just wanted to make sure I got the name right. So it was that, I thought it was Stephen Hawking because I didn't know what Christopher Reeves looks like now, but they had a picture of him in a wheelchair, and like Stairway to Heaven, and then Jesus's face at the top, and like a little like quote bubble next to Reeves, and he said I don't want to say it on the air, but he said the F word like with an exclamation mark, because he was like, I thought it was Stephen Hawking, and I thought it was, I saw a meme. I hate using that word, and it was like a quote by Stephen Hawking saying there is no God, and then there was a like fake quote by God saying there is no Stephen Hawking after he died, but it didn't seem relevant to me. So after I found out it was Christopher Reeve, the joke was supposedly that it was a stairway to heaven, and after Reeve died, I guess he was paralyzed or something. He's in a wheelchair, and he couldn't, it's not heaven. I guess isn't wheelchair accessible, I guess was the joke or something. But it just got under my skin so bad, because like they got this picture, and I don't know what Jesus looked like. We all give them the long hair and beard, like the cliche guy that we always see, but it's supposed to be him. It's implied that it's him, and he's up like in the clouds, his face, and the stairway leads to him. And like, even though it's a joke, just like implying like, oh, heaven's, the phrase stairway to heaven, I guess it's not wheelchair accessible. That was the joke behind the picture. It got so under my skin because now we have to analyze it. And now all these people that are really left wing, and I'm going to associate that with like quote unquote free, open minded thinking, but it usually leans towards atheism and evolution, which I know one of these girls is, at least one. And now I'm sitting in the class. I'm the only kid that I'm pretty sure even cares about this important subject of death. Because I guess, did the guy die? I'm assuming the guy actually died. So Christopher Reeves, in my mind, in class right now, is either in heaven or hell. And they're making a joke of it up on the smart board. And I'm like, just the things that came out of the first thing a lady said was, I'm assuming, I think I take from this picture, it's like an AA meeting. The whole thing's really creepy. She's like, I take from this picture that I guess he lived a pretty bad life, and he wasn't good enough, and so that's pretty much God isn't letting him in because I guess he did some pretty bad stuff. Like I said, Matthias, I don't know how to get to heaven. I'm seeking, but I am very, very persuaded that is not. It's got nothing to do with living right, and I can't remember them all, but I'm gonna like point out the highlighted things that I heard.
Right,
And
but you're still seeing what other people believe.
right, right. And it's just like everybody's reaction, they were so different, but they were all in like agreement. It was, and that makes zero sense, like saying, but they were all like, oh, he wasn't good enough, so he didn't get in. And then other people are saying stuff like, the guy in front of me is saying, I don't know that man up there, assuming that that's like literally what Jesus looked like, assuming it's Jesus. He's like, I don't know that man. And then later he said something. I just heard him say the word watchtower, so I'm guessing he was a Jehovah's Witness. I'm hearing the girl that I know who's an atheist behind me to my left, and she's like, they're just so hypocritical, and it's just like she's just going off on Jesus, saying, they just expect you to be so good, and they're saying like, and they're like taking this picture as if it's a fact, and people are starting like, oh well, that's not fair, like heaven, like Jesus is supposed to be nice and stuff, and now heaven isn't wheelchair accessible. And then they started getting into, like I said, it's all about, it's such a like emotion based class. It's weird. It's like everybody talk about your feelings, and it's creepy, and I don't want to do that. But everybody's like trying to analyze this picture, and the atheist girl goes, "Well, he played Superman, and he's pretty much regarded as like the best Superman." And I think it's a contradiction between, it's like contrasting God up in the heavens, like not doing anything, and and Superman, even though they're both powerful figures, he is like not just as like mighty as him or something, and he's not as good as God. And like Superman did stuff on Earth helping us, and God just pretty much just stays up in the clouds and stuff. And that's when I had to speak up, because it's like I don't know what I'm talking about, and that's the main reason it got under my skin, because I don't have a solid answer to defend this picture with. I can't defend Jesus in that way because I'm not fully persuaded of anything. And it sucks saying that, but I'm
But
gonna have to be
okay,
honest
okay,
with
that's
myself.
not true. Okay, that's not true. That's where you don't have to be fully persuaded to start defending.
Well, I
I,
did start defending. It got so under my skin, I had to say something about it.
well, right. We'll see, but that's fine because you don't being fully persuaded doesn't mean that you can't, like, when you teach people the things that you're learning, you learn them better and God shows you insights as you're teaching them. So don't just be sitting back with your hands sitting on your hands and your mouth zip just because you're not fully persuaded. You can be just as honest. You can be like, look, this is what I'm looking into. This is what I think the Bible says. This is what
Well,
it's
that's
showing to
right.
me.
That's as far as I could say is, this is what I think. I'm not gonna teach these
That's
people
fine.
something. Right.
That's
Okay.
fine.
I thought you were saying like teach them this, and I'm like, I can't teach them. I don't want to screw these people over like with me. If I'm not fully persuaded on something, I'm definitely
That's
not
what
gonna preach it.
I don't consider. I don't like when people call me a teacher. I'm learning and we broadcast and we learn together. If people learn from what I'm doing, great. But I pick up the Bible every day and I'm expecting to learn something new every day.
Fair. But I mean, where I'm at, I can't even say I know it's the Bible. I got to start with the Bible and go from. Anyways, I'm like, after the atheist girl was like, God's just pretty much up in the clouds, laid back, doesn't do anything, and Superman's down here, like saving people and helping us down here. I'm like, wait a minute, and this is like what I said off air, how I'm trying to be careful with my words here. I'm like, well, keeping in mind that that's a picture, if it's supposed to represent Jesus, the whole point is that I'm like I totally disagree with her, because Jesus came to Earth, and his whole point was to be on Earth. If you want to say there's a difference between him and Superman being on Earth and in the clouds, I'm like, the whole point of him was to come to Earth and live a perfect life and then die for us. And I made sure I said on Earth. and she got quiet after that. But
Wait. I just realized I thought you were thinking this. You raised your hand and said
no,
this
I
out
didn't
loud?
raise my hand. Everybody's just like, go for it. Don't screw raising hands. Everybody's just like, say what you're thinking. But yeah, I said
Awesome.
that out loud, and it's. Well, I mean, like that girl got quiet. I mean, she started right back up after a while, after somebody else said something. But it's just like why can't we, like, okay, we can do politics, we can, I don't care all the Trump jokes that come, I don't care all the Obama jokes that come our way. Whenever you get into religion, it's like, it's just, I don't know, it got under my skin, like, because it's like real, like this is heaven and hell, and we're sitting here laughing about like a Photoshop picture of a dude who's literally dead. Like, what the hell's wrong with us? And I'm just as guilty as everybody else for like having a quick laugh once I see like a bad word on the screen or something. But that's then it gets into the whole point of literally like your world slows down, everybody's laughing at this picture, and I'm in my own head now, and I'm like, what is wrong with us? What is wrong with me? This guy is dead. This is most likely the outcome. He's probably facing God, and we're sitting here making a joke out of it, and everybody's got these contradicting ideologies. This dude's saying something about Jehovah's Witnesses. I know this girl in the front, if she's not Jewish, it's gonna like screw with my mind, but she's got a Jewish last name, looks kind of Jewish, and she, she she didn't go into like Judaism or anything, but she mostly kept quiet. But it's just like knowing what they probably believe, and I'm not gonna make an assumption saying I know what they believe. But the girl in the back, I know what she believes because she posted that she's, believes in evolution. So her I can run with, and just everybody else sharing their views. And I'm no Bible expert, I'm no scholar, but I'm pretty sure I know what's right, and I'm pretty sure everybody in the class is so off track. It is scary, and that's where I was getting at with the, I guess, big news of the day, at least, and it really messed with me.
No, that's awesome that you actually said something. I think that's great. Not only does it help with other people, but I'm sure God was working through it to explain things to you as well. So, um, seeing that, sorry, I'm hearing myself in the other room. It's kind of weird. Paula, if you'll lower the TV a little bit, please. um, but there's a little couple second delay in there. So, but when you're seeing these things and getting the courage to um, be able to speak up, I noticed in my life as I was, like, do I believe this? And then I realized it was actually one day when I went from, you know, semi defending it, because I was like, what you're saying, I believe in it, but I'm not fully persuaded. I want to believe the way these people believe.
I just want to believe what's
Uh,
right, not necessarily that, but I get what you're saying.
Um, right. I get right, and I get what you're saying. But then one day I was arguing with totally different people, and I was arguing it not as I wanted to believe as they believed, but it was exactly what I believed. And then I was like, whoa, it's it's what I believe. Like it was through my defending the word where I came to this solid foundation. I believe this. Like, it's not just me looking into it anymore. It's I I'm defending it with everything I have because I believe it with everything I have.
I mean, it's
So,
hard to make that comparison with me because I defended it the same way with everything I had, but it was like on the wrong foundation of trying to have a defense for something new that I discovered.
I didn't mute. I was eating my cereal. Sorry. I'm trying to get some
Daryl, you
bran
got
in here.
anything?
Where's my mute button? There it is. Well, it's it's good that you're being convicted like that. Like even though you're not technically saved, I guess you are hearing from God. You are listening to your conscience, the Holy Spirit, and these things are getting under your skin for a reason. So I'm not sure if I was saved at the time, but yeah, things were really. I guess I was. I don't know, but things were changing quite a bit for me, and all the things that never bothered me before were just starting to bother me. Right? The more I focused on God, the more I read the Bible, the more these things just kind of the old things just faded away, like the Kiss stuff and all the stuff that I really enjoyed and didn't realize was actually harming me, just kind of faded away. And I was taking offense to people swearing or not swearing, just blaspheming and certain things. So I don't know. I think you're in a good place. You're just keep going, brother, or my friend.
Little brother would be pretty good because, well, no, almost
No.
brother. There you go, almost brother.
Yeah, I like that.
But so Ephesians is a good place to see the vanity. So you've just been jumping around.
No, not
With,
Ephesians, Ecclesiastes. Did I say
no,
Ephesians?
I messed up on that. You said Ecclesiastes, and I just messed up Ecclesiastes. But you knew what I was talking about when I
I
said
thought it, yeah. I'm
everything's
like, is he talking
vanity.
about vanity?
No. Ephesians isn't the vanity of vanity.
It's just, yeah. No, talk. I'm trying to get every word I have in.
Right. Well, no, you're good.
It's just like I
But
kind
for
of
you
look forward.
to see
Oh,
the
okay, keep going.
well, what I was about to say is that for you to see the value in Ecclesiastes about the vanity that everything is, that's something that so-called believers for a long time don't even understand. So you're coming along with your understanding, and it seems like the Lord's even leading you to the correct books that are able to open your eyes to what you're actually seeing.
It's. I mean, like I said earlier, it's just like moments like throughout the day, but it's really like there's just some moments that are just like last night. Last night I got real convicted, and I just like prayed for a while, and I can't even remember because I have the worst memory in the world what it was about. But I just remember like it was, most of my prayers have been just thanking God for His mercy on me and my friends and my family. I don't know how I've had the most average life out of every single person who's ever lived, most likely, and how everybody in my town has had the exact same result and everybody I know. But it's just like everything's been so normal. It's real. It's like a Twilight Zone episode. And these moments where I zone out lately, it's been realizing like just how much mercy God has had on my family throughout the years, just in crazy situations. I was at my cousin's football game Friday. He's a sophomore now at a school, and he's on the varsity team. So it was his first varsity game. And 14 years ago from Friday, 14 years ago to the day, he was diagnosed at 2 years old with leukemia. And it's just like stuff you forget about because it's just like your life. And thank God he beat the odds. God had mercy on him and I got to grow up with him, and he's like my best bud and also my cousin, and I've just grown up with him all my life. But it's just realizing stuff we take for granted. Like, here's my cousin who 14 years ago to the day was diagnosed with leukemia. All
You just muted yourself.
my dad called me, sorry. But here, I might as well start heading back, but I got my headphones in so you guys can hear me. All the kids that like seldom make it when diagnosed with such an awful disease that their poor little like weak baby bodies, it's so hard for them to fight. For some reason, I don't get it. I really don't get it, because all the normality in my life I have to give back and thank God for it, because there's no other way for me to explain it. But he beat it. He beat it whenever he was like 7 years old, and he battled it for 5 years and lost his hair and everything. But it's just like stuff I forget about. Like, I forget that even happened whenever I see him. But just my aunt bringing that up, that it was 14 years ago to the day, and then now he's starting in his first varsity football game, and the kid's already got a scholarship to a huge school to play baseball. So it's like the kid's about to have it made. I just don't get how good God's been to my family. Most of my older, like really old, like 93 great grandparents are like still alive. And I don't understand it. God's giving me the opportunity to see them and just, I don't know, be with them. Like, I've got no shame in saying that I snuck down to like my living room just to look at old pictures and old videos of when I was a kid, just with my family. Because I told you and Paul, I'm so close to my family on both sides, really, but more on my mom's. It's like I was sitting there bawling my eyes out, an 18-year-old boy crying at 3 a.m. downstairs, so his dad doesn't hear him, because both of our rooms are upstairs. But I'm sitting there crying, looking at pictures and videos of my like old self and my family, and just memories sticking out. I just don't get how God's been so good to me and my family. It makes zero sense, and the only two things I can put together are just A, he's just that good, or B, he knows what's coming. And honestly, statistically, the majority of my family, and I say this to you now, and it's probably going to be at 3 a.m. whenever I'm crying about it later because it doesn't sink in. But just off the top of my mind, most of my family is probably going to go to hell. And that does nothing to me right now as I'm driving, talking to you guys. But when I have those little zone out moments and actually think about stuff, it's gonna kill me later tonight. And I don't know. I just really think God's just holding it out, giving us all as much time as possible, because he's just that good. Well, I mean, both point back to him just being that good, but I don't know. It hasn't really.
I hear you, but remember what Paula said. How do you think God feels about it?
Terrible. Terrible.
I can honestly say what you're talking about, I've probably gone through 10 times, and I've come to a point where I've asked God to take it from me. That I know He hurts much worse than I do, and just to let me be positive, glorify His name, and know that all things, even if our loved ones who reject Him unto death and end up in hell, all things glorify God and work for the good of those who believe. So, um, it's tough.
It's very tough.
It's tough, but God's not a respecter of persons. So, um, all we can do is just live tilling soil, like trying to till soil everywhere we go, planting and watering, and just praying God gives the increase. But really, it comes down to each individual person and God themselves. all we can do is witness. So, I mean, God's showing you so many different things, from what offends him in the world to how he hurts when a lost person rejects him unto death. I'm wondering something. That's not the real Jessica Dallas.
What? The one with the sheep picture?
The one with the thumper?
Oh, it was Thumper. I thought it was a sheep. Yeah. It's not. She always makes new accounts.
Well, she's got a new account, yeah, but she has a wrench. The real Jessica Dallas has a wrench.
That's a good
Oh,
point.
you're not in the comment section.
No, I'm not. I'm driving, and even then I couldn't see it if I was parked. But yeah, she did.
Hey, Nate. I didn't even know. I don't know how she says it's her. I don't know how she gets rid of a wrench. I don't know how you can get rid of your wrench if she may just be under a different account, right? But I'd rather you be with your wrench, Jessica, so you can moderate, and also I know you're not one of those super trolls. Super trolls will take whatever you call it, take people's
Whoa, a deer!
accounts, and mimic them. What?
I saw a deer. I'm glad it didn't jump out in front of me. It was like right by the road.
Right. Mike wants to know if we have a topic or what. The topic tonight is wherever the Lord leads. You got a topic you want to that you want us to address? Let me know, Mike. That's what these are for. They're for chat room and panel directed discussions.
Mike's really been struggling lately. On the weekend, he had a car accident. He's okay, but his car got all busted up, and again, just it seems to have the devil's chasing him all over the place. And he kind of freaked out, and he's struggling a lot. And he's still struggling, but he's hanging in there. So keep going, Mike. I talked to him today at work. I'll see him again tomorrow. Not sure where to go. I told him to either come on or ask some questions.
Right, yeah. I mean, or also set up a time and we'll have a private discussion that's always open to you, Mike. But then also, can you find glory, praise, and thanks in that one part that Daryl just said? He's all right. I mean, is there a chance that God kept you safe in an accident, especially if your car got all tore up? Maybe God's wanting you to lean on Him, and He's giving you opportunities to do it, and you're kind of bucking against it. I don't know, but Mike, have you prayed? Have you talked to God and asked Him? Get personal with Him. Daryl, what were you gonna?
Yeah, he's just taking it all to heart, taking it all personally. Everyone's against him, sort of thing. Everybody wants the money in my pocket, and now this is going to cost him probably a $500 deductible when he didn't do anything. And so who knows how it's going to turn out in the end. But yeah, it's rough when you're getting that close to salvation. Like we've talked about before, the devils are chasing you around, but ultimately God's allowing it too. So you got two sides of the coin there.
Right. Right. It's gonna look like it gets harder until the moment it gets easier. So, um,
Actually,
well,
you know what, Matthias? I just remembered. I got something in the oven. I'll be right back. Hang on.
all right, no worries. Glad he remembered when he did. And Mike, wh- um, uh, looking to the sky and expecting something to happen is not right, Mike. Um, it's, if you're expecting something to happen, look back in your mind's eye and imagine 2,000 years ago. You want to see where salvation happened. You want to make it personal. Think of all your sins from when you were first born to when you die, bundle them all together, and then throw them back 2,000 years. You want to see where your salvation is. Problem is sounds outlandish, but and spiritually speaking, that's exactly what it is. And so you're still looking for a feeling, you're still looking for um, some sort of emotion or proof. The only proof you're ever going to have is the Word of God.
Not
Um,
to not to jump in, but I've
no,
only
go
got a
ahead.
little bit of time. One of the
Yeah.
things I talked to Paul, I said Paula. One of the things I talked to Paula about. Whoa, that was a bunch of lightning. One of the things was just according to what you preach. Like I said, I I really think it's right. But just one thing I don't understand, and this went back to thinking about family and just I don't know, making it personal. I just don't understand how anybody from a universalism approach, how anybody who knew what happened, why they would choose hell. Like, if they fully understood the consequence of their sin, how long forever is, and just what God did for them, I just don't get how anybody could reject it. Like, obviously, that's an option according to what you.
Did you say universalism
I
and
said from that approach, meaning how God, like if God were to present that as the way, just everybody's saved, but according to what you preach, it's not. I don't see how if it was an option, well, not heaven is an option, but just how if everybody like really knew, like you got to go to the Bible and you got to like seek God and you got to search for the truth. I don't get how if it was just like, and I say obvious, but God's probably looking at me right now like it's so obvious, Bryce. But if it was just like obvious, I guess two makes it more. How anybody could reject it. Like if it was just like right in front of everybody's eyes, I don't see how anybody would say nope. Like yeah, you see the videos of if I could prove to you God was real and the God that was real was the God of the Bible, will you worship him? And the people say no, because I don't really like him because of all the murders and stuff, and they take it all a different way out of context and misrepresent his character. But I don't get how if those people really understood the consequence and just what happened 2,000 years ago, how they could reject it. It's something that I'm not like having trouble understanding, and it's more so coming from family. Just how most of my family is
I
never
don't
going to find out.
well, I don't think most people I don't think most people um uh mm,
You see where I'm trying to get though? Like, not that you agree with it, but do you see where I'm like the point I'm trying to make? That's where you go, I hear you.
That's funny. My wife gets on to me about that.
She's got, I've called on, she's got a phrase she does. I forget what it is right now. Oh, she does. You know what I mean? That's her thing.
Right. I mean, I do. I get where you're trying to go, but you're still okay. One the thing is now, my thing is I don't think they understand. You're saying that you don't see how somebody can fully understand and reject.
Well,
I agree.
Right.
They don't fully understand.
I'm just don't get how it's not like, right. Okay. So we're in agreement how if they did fully understand how they could reject it. So what I'm getting at is God knowing that, well, if it is true, like you say you believe it, I say it, but that doesn't make it fact. But if it's true and God knows it's true, obviously if it's true, God knows it's true, how he wouldn't make that just an option, how it wouldn't be universalism. Do you see what I'm saying? Like what I'm saying now? If he knows that if everybody actually understood how that they would, how it's irresistible, how I mean, you can't resist. You have to buy it. You have to believe it. Why he wouldn't make it an option?
I don't like the irresistible word.
I get it. Yeah, it sounds Calvinistic, but that's the only thing I could think of.
So what you're getting at is why Jesus spoke in parables. He spoke in parables so that they wouldn't believe and be converted. But wait, I thought he wants everybody to believe and be converted, right?
I don't know if you said something before, but my dad called. Yes, I believe he does want everybody to be converted. If that's what you're.
That's right. But I also said that Jesus spoke in parables so that people wouldn't believe and be converted.
That's a good point. I read that recently too, and I'm glad you brought that up because I would have forgotten all about it. It threw me off.
But now do you see why?
No, because my dad called me. Did I miss the point, or just over my head?
But no, okay. So the reason why he spoke in parables, because if everybody fully understood, yeah, of course you'd believe. So the understanding is the key, but he made it. That's the reason why the Bible is spiritually written and spiritually discerned. It takes God giving the understanding. Nobody can understand it without him giving it to them.
That's where I'm getting at. Why doesn't he just give the understanding to everybody if they ask for it or not? I know I'm trying to ask you questions like you're God, like you've got every answer for everything that relates to him, but.
Well, I mean, I don't, and I know you know I don't, but I've gone through exactly what you're going through, and I've been through this with several people before.
I'm sure it makes sense. I'm sure there's a reason for it. All I'm saying is it's hard to understand.
Right. Well, love. That's the reason. You keep going. That's why. Remember, I said I don't like that word, Calvinism.
Yes.
The Calvinistic. If he just gave everybody the understanding, that would be the same thing as just
robots.
Exactly. And so without free will, there is no love. And God doesn't, I mean, he wants all of his creation to get to heaven. But it's not quality. It truly is, or it's not quantity. It truly is quality. He wants the love he'd rather he died for every single one of us. But even if there was only one of us, he still would have died for each one of us. And so even if he was spending eternity only with one of us, only one of us truly loved him and wanted to choose him and be with him, um and he would have done it all for that. But it's the quality, the love factor is the main issue that you're missing. Hold on, let me see. I just noticed Mark saying Mike older above. How do you know what you're going to take to heaven? I don't know what I'm going to take to heaven. The only thing I can take is my children. I pray I do. What the? You can't take anything to heaven. Right. Okay. Well, yeah, you can take your children. My issue is not financial, not personally. What do you mean, Mike? Well, when I was saying it's a personal, it means you have to go to him directly. It has nothing to do with my money.
I think he was talking about the car.
Oh. Oh, thank you. Okay. So it's not about the um dude, I don't know. There's no coincidences in life. So you just take it to God, Mike. Take it to God. Uh, I hope you're praying. I hope you're in the Word. And I know the parts that you just don't get. I hope you just say, Lord, show it to me soon. And actually bring those verses and put them in the chat room and we'll talk about them. But keep reading is the main point.
I'm about to pull in my driveway, but I remember I wrote down stuff for today on my notes. So what I'm going to do from now on Monday's Milk, I'm going to leave you guys with one thing because I always come back and listen to it. So you guys can talk about it while I'm off, but I'm going to leave you with one thing just to get that much more in because I look forward to these. It's the highlight of my week. All right, let me go to notes. I try to remember as much as I can, but I never write it down. Wow, I really have nothing. Okay, forget about that. You guys talk about whatever you want.
That's funny. Where's your notes?
On my phone. It's just everything I've written down I either used on last week's or most of it at least. I don't know what I would talk about. This sucks because I'm in my driveway and it's raining and there's a hurricane coming.
Oh, crap. Are you in that way?
Oh, yeah. Not on the coast, but mid-South Carolina. It's going to hit. It's going to probably affect Jason because it's up there by North Carolina, really on the border of both of us. But it's going to be pretty. It's not going to, I don't know, like tear down houses or anything, I guess, but
Right.
it'll be strong wind.
No, I go through them often. But okay, we'll be praying for you. But I'll talk to you before then.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Daryl, it's good talking to you. Sorry for taking up most of the time, but it's always
Okay,
good.
no problem, man. Good night. God bless you, and keep going, brother.
Yes,
keep on
sir.
calling you brother, little brother. Take care.
Bye. Bye, Matthias.
Later, Bryce. So, hey Joe, glad you're able to make it. Angel, hello. It's hard not to be. It's hard not to her paralyzed with fear for my children's salvation. It's hard not to be. I think. I hear you. I hear you. Angel. I've actually I've actually prayed that if my kids are not going to get saved, that if God would take them home before the age of accountability. Call me selfish, whatever. I mean, I know that I won't. I'm not omnipotent or omniscient. I don't know if they're going to believe. So I just trust the Lord either way. There's they even if they don't believe until their deathbed and then they get saved, that doesn't, as long as they go to heaven, that's all I care about. But I have prayed that if it needs to be so, that if God knows that they'll just never believe, then to please take them out before. Now, if this is the real Jessica, which I don't know why you don't have a wrench, we can do a hangouts tomorrow, a chat. I can't call Argentina, can't afford that, but you can do a hangouts. And then also, guys, next Wednesday, we're going to start doing the private chat room. So it'll be a video chat for whoever wants to join, but it will not be broadcasted live. So it'll just be a private chat for us to fellowship. So anybody who wants to join will be able to join in. And we'll probably start doing those every Wednesday. I'll post the group or the page. So I do need to start an email list for that though. So if you guys want to be part of the Wednesday, it's going to be like a broadcast. You can join and not say anything, but the only way you're going to be able to hear and even know about it is if you listen to it live. It's not going to be recorded. It's not going to be played back. It is just going to be a private video call among brethren. So we'll try to do that every Wednesday. And if you want the link to go to that chat, go ahead and email me anytime now between now and then. Excuse me. Email me anytime between now and then, and I'll put you on the list. And then on Wednesday, I'll shoot out that email. And for a few hours, we'll just have the chat room open, and anybody who comes in, people can come in and go as they please. We'll have it open for, like I said, a few hours. So I hear you, Mark, but go ahead and email me and say put me on the list. That way I can just go through and you just automatically add everybody via the email so I don't miss anybody. So
Sure, put me on that list too.
right. Yes, it'll be fun. And so we'll do it pretty early evening Wednesday too, because we want to get it done before Luke and Renee start their Bible study Wednesday evening. Oh, excuse me, but they start that pretty late. I think like 9 something. So we'll start the private chat probably around like 6 Central, and go till basically they start their broadcast. So be in there for a couple hours at least. And like I said, you don't have to be a part of the conversation if you just want to join in and listen. But if you do want to chat and have a conversation, you're just too nervous to do it on a live recording, then the private chat will be good. So Jessica, I I'm sorry that you're having a terrible day. And I'm sure it's not just me who has noticed. And I know it's not just me who will be praying for you. So don't worry. We all go through shitty days. Uh, it's sometimes part of our growth. But don't let it bring you down or keep you down. And just know that you got friends that care about you and that are lifting you up. So, um, uh, you're in a place where people actually do care about you. I think you can tell that too. So, let's see. Do you guys have anything in the chat room that you want us to discuss? And then also, um, the Daryl, do you have anything from Mike as we're waiting on somebody from the chat room? Anything that I've missed or that he's said to you at other times?
Well, he has given me some notes, just some verses here and there, but it's very all over the place, very disjointed. So I'm not even sure he really knows why he wrote them down. But he asked me an interesting question today. But when Jesus rose from the dead, I'm not sure where this exactly is, but the story where he just shows up, and I guess he just basically walked right through the walls. Right, the doors were closed, and into the room there. Now, then he asks an interesting question: why would the doors be closed? He says, shouldn't it be open for everyone to come in and be part of, resurrection or whatever with Jesus? I'm like, okay, that's an interesting question. I've never had anyone ask me that before.
Okay.
But I kind of went through it and read it. It's basically, it comes right out and tells you that it's for fear of the Jews, for fear of the Pharisees.
Yeah. And also the main reason for the doors is to show you that a little glimpse into this body that he has, that we're going to be given one like it as well. It's material enough, solid enough to eat and drink, but at the same time immaterial enough and transparent or invisible enough to walk through walls. So
yeah, I did tell him that too. He was kind of showing off there a little bit, but it's supernatural, kind of cool.
right. And that's the main. I wasn't trying to say that, oh no, it's locked to everyone. But he did plan, and it was prophesied that he would only be revealed. Well, he did. It was planned. Let me just put it that way. It was planned, intentional. That's the way it happened. That he would be seen by many, not all, but many people after his resurrection. Ones that he chose. Like there's a few verses. Paul said it. A couple times. Excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. I will be getting caught up on sleep tonight, Lord willing. All right. How precious our time is, the gift it is, and how mindful should we be of this? Okay. I gotcha. Okay, so something to talk, answering something to talk about. All right, also here, how about how to discern? Okay, Mr. Tomatoes, awesome, glad you're here. You see this at Talkin Doctrine 2. If you do that, it'll put the banner and we won't miss it. I almost missed your comment here. I'm sorry. How to discern them? What do you mean? Between them, those are two just branches of spiritual wickedness. Principality. A principality is actually a geographic location. It's almost. They actually almost run concurrent with the that physical, like over states and stuff. So a prince is at the head of all principalities, different princes, and those are angels. Now a power throne. Oh man, there's like 4 or 5 more too. They're just different ranks of devils, rankings. I think powers is either really. No, I think it's pretty low. I think powers is low and thrones is high. I gotta do. I haven't looked at my notes on this stuff, or I haven't looked into this either in 5 years. So, but a principality is an area that is run by a prince, and under the prince, there's thrones. Under the thrones, dominions. After the dominions. Oh man, but it gets down to the lowest, to like each spiritual wickedness is specific in their attack and talents and their abilities. And so within a principality, it's like a military structure where it sends out orders and tries to get people to be so caught up in the things of the world that they never think of the heavenly things of God. So it's all cunning, subtle deception to keep people from understanding.
Well, Matthias, I got to head out soon, and I'm sure you're feeling kind of tired and such.
Yeah, I hate yawning on air, but sometimes I have to. But yeah, I hear you, Daryl. I appreciate it. With Mike, just write down whatever questions he has during the week, and we'll hopefully maybe have a list. So Mike, just relax, get in the Word, whatever questions, if it's directed towards the Bible, things that you read, or if it's directed towards situations in your life, about your car wreck, divorce, whatever else may be going on in your life, go ahead. Just ask, and we'll get them. We'll have a little question and answer session with you. But we need you to engage us in order for us to be able to elaborate in any way. So, Daryl, if you get a chance and he's willing, just write it down. If you don't mind.
Yeah, I got the notes that he gave me today. I said there's really only a couple of little things. But as for myself, I gotta have a sit down with my pastor again. He's been doing a sermon series on discipleship, which is great, and I have talked to him before about making sure he makes his distinction between discipleship and salvation, right? And he, on some occasions, he's been following that, but then I didn't realize on the back of the church business cards that they hand out, they have the ABCs of salvation. Wonderful. So this thing is all completely wrong. Admit, believe, and commit.
Yeah, that's the wrong.
I've had this conversation with him. I said he knows that committing means, you're committing is discipleship, and it means nothing. And So he's just he's the nicest guy ever. But I think I may have found the reason why I'm back at this church that I actually grew up in, just to kind of hopefully clean up some of this stuff. Like they're so entrenched and they don't stick their head outside too much. So I don't think they realize the what do you call it, the stuff that's crept in. So yeah, it's make a decision, expressing my desire to be forgiven, to enter into a relationship with God, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Yeah, make a decision, expressing my desire to be forgiven. I'm like, are we not forgiven already? Like, seriously? And make a decision. Yeah, well, so if he believes that committing isn't 100% necessary, then what is this doing on the card, right? If somebody reads this, ABCs of salvation, that means, okay, I have to commit to be saved. So it's completely wrong, and I got to talk to him about this.
I'll be praying for you. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. Hopefully he sees the wording. Hopefully he gets convicted on it.
Yeah, and he was talking about discipleship, and he goes, you got to be saved to be a disciple. I'm like, oh man, here we go again. Seriously? We talked about this. I told you. Well, I reminded him that Judas was a disciple. So yeah, there's a few things we still.
Disciples walked no more with him in John 6:66.
Right, there you go. So, well, he's a nice guy. We'll sit down and we'll talk about it for sure. But thank you. Thanks for tonight. And God bless you.
Right. God bless you. If you got time this weekend, hit me up if you're not going out of town this weekend, are you?
No, we'll be staying in town now, so sure.
All right. Yeah. So if you got time, hit me up. I should have time for sure.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Oh yeah, and I was looking. The guy, one of the new guys there that I've been talking to at work, he was asking for examples of because I was talking to him a little bit about King James and NIV, and he was kind of interested. And I said the King James, you can use it as to divine itself, right? And he wanted some examples, and I really didn't have any off the top of my head, so I was going to kind of ask you about that too. But we can talk about that on the weekend, maybe.
You know what? I thought, Daryl, I'm so sorry. I got mixed up in the shuffle because I responded to you, but I meant to get back to the question on another time when I wasn't so busy at the time. And when I went scrolling through my emails, I had responded to all of them. So right. I need to not do a partial response because I can't find where my emails were to get back. It's happened to me a couple times now. So for everybody, if it's a little bit longer till I respond, it's because I'm going to give you a longer response than normal. But yeah, Daryl, that's something to talk about. And actually, I should do it. Now that I'm not doing the cottage, I'm going to get back to doing the email responses again. And I might be able to make a video you could just forward to them.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. Sure. Cool.
So awesome, Daryl. I'll talk to you this weekend, Lord willing.
Okay. God bless. Good night.
God bless. Good night. All right. So real quick with this, probably one of the childs following him. Let's see what say next. I don't know what you mean. And then Jessica, who's taking screenshots of what you say and causing trouble? I mean, don't listen to them. You've got people messing with you because they're being pushed. I had emails of people saying, if you don't get Jessica out of the fellowship because she's just talking terrible. This is when you were being aggressive with the things that you were saying and stuff. And, you know, when you got nasty, I did block you. But then I unblocked you too. But I just wanted you to say no, that, hey, we don't want to get too worldly. You know, I came straight out of the world. I can get much nastier than anything you've put on here. And just ask my wife and my humor sometimes, even as a saved person. Just not on air, not to be a stumbling stone for people. So who cares? I didn't listen to him, and you shouldn't listen to him. So don't worry about it. Um, there's things that, that you, I don't see you doing the shit you used to do. And I use the word correctly. So, who cares? Even if you did jump back into it, who cares? It's difficult to understand how I can fit in where my place is to help God's kingdom in this world against these mountains. Um, hmm. Well, if you're saved, which I'm assuming so, Mister, um, that's where we're all in. And mountains, what do you call mountains? He's talking about a spiritual term because a lot of people don't understand that in the spiritual context. Sounds like that's what you meant it as. Sounds like what I've learned from my past for various mountain societies. Um, Possibly it's where I've done research on it, so I didn't just come up with it on my own. Let's see. Hey Lisa, good to see you. All right. Oh, wait. I just it's done. What time do you think we'll have the stream? Spiritual for church meeting. Um, 2 Pacific? Oh, that's 4. No, it'll be uh uh we have it for, well, you know what, Lisa? Lisa, that one might be a good one to take to D13. We're gonna start doing broadcasts on D13 again on Saturday nights. And so we can either do that, like when we were scheduling that in, I was still scheduling Saturday nights here. So we either need to schedule it on Friday night here, or we can bring it to D13. The spiritual warfare would be a good one for that. Also, Angel, you're in the chat room. Would you join us for that as well? The we need to look. I need to get with Kip, but I think it was the 22nd or the 29th. But if we do it here, it's going to have to either be the 21st or 28th. Because, but I think doing that broadcast on D13 would be pretty cool. I think I said hey to Joe, Tom. Hey, Tom. Accounted worthy. Man, I don't remember. I think it's welcome back to the fellowship. I haven't seen you in a while, and I'm trying to remember your name if I ever had it. She's got jokes. Hey, Esteban, good to see you. Let's see. All right. What shall be accounted worthy to obtain? Gave us the verse in which they got the name from. Accounted worthy. I'm not worthy. Only through the blood of Christ am I. Hey, Natalie. Last question. Is it over? No. Oh, no, it's not over yet. But you can ask a question. I don't want to be ignorant, but what about our loved ones that do go to hell and we go to heaven? How will that pain be wiped away? And I say this believing that our Father is just in whatever his works. Okay, so Sarah, you know about the verse, all tears will be wiped away. And I do believe, and I should say I do think that all the lost people at some point are going to get destroyed. And I think that is the same time that we enter into like forever, like when all of time ends, after the 1,000 years and everything. I think they'll be destroyed. And I think that is one way that that pain will be wiped away from us. So I agree. We've got loved ones. All of us have loved ones who will go to hell. And it will be hard to think about living in bliss forever and knowing that our family are eternally tormented with torture. I mean, if that's what the Bible says, then he's just, and I'm okay with it. Somehow he'll get to where we don't remember or whatever. Or he'll give us an explanation on why it's just and we'll see it the way he does or something. Whatever the case may be, whatever the case may be, I think that if the annihilation in the fact that they all get destroyed at the second death is true, then I think it lines up with not having to be upset or worried or hurt that our loved ones are in hell. All right, so guys, I'm sorry if I missed something. Sorry if I missed something, guys, because I just realized when I scrolled back up, I had missed quite a lot. Let's see. So, Jessica, if you got time to chat tomorrow, we should talk on Hangouts. Is it wrong to pray imprecatory prayers against someone who is abusing my loved ones? I don't want him to die. He's already given over. He told me he is. Plus, I suspect he is something. I pray for God to stop him in his tracks. However, he deems fit. That's fine. That's fine. There's David prayed quite a few prayers and psalms that seem to be, strongly against the wicked. What I would do is pray more for the person who's being abused. And then the person who is the abuser, if they got saved, the abusing would be done. When a sound mind is part of what salvation is, one of the things we get in salvation. And I think beating a woman or anybody weaker, even animals, is a mental illness. So hopefully if they got saved, they would be able to change that. So the prayers aren't bad. And over? No, he's not. If he's got air in his lungs, he has the ability to get saved, period. I hate that reprobate doctrine saying that somebody's gone so far or they've sold their soul or whatever the case may be. God's long suffering, even if he is satanic, even if he's killed millions of kids in satanic rituals, he can still get saved. All of his sins were placed into Jesus, and Jesus paid the penalty for every single one, period. So he can still get saved. Just pray for his salvation. Oh, so is the stream still scheduled? Okay. Postponed for a later date on D13. That's all right. Okay. Don't know yet, Lisa. I gotta talk to Kip, but it won't be postponed for a later date if we don't do it the 29th on D13. We'll do it on the 28th. So we'll do it that Friday on TD. So I just haven't brought that up to Kip yet. We just talked about how we're going to start doing Saturdays on D13. So that's the only issue right there. I need to talk to Kip. So let me I probably won't talk to him tonight because as soon as I stop this broadcast, I'm getting right into bed. But Lord willing, I should talk to him tomorrow. Is it okay to know you're doomed? Can you live life being just a Christian? But you're taking it too far. You're not doomed. You're not doomed. Dude, you're on the right track. Just give it some time. Stay in the Word. You've got to be honestly seeking. You've got to be honestly seeking for all this crap to come up. But you got to realize that it's not going to stop. Just relax. Ask God to give you comfort, to give you understanding, and just chill. And do it won't stop. I prayed for 20 years. I hear you, Natalie. We'll be praying. We'll be praying. It's fine. Natalie, I know people who used to hate God who are some of the strongest soul winners I know. So they were. I know people. Well, I should say I know of people who had God-hating tattoos who are strong soul winners today. Let's see. I missed it. Love you, Adam. God bless, brother. We will talk soon. All right. Yeah, R7. Haven't seen you in a while. Natalie, who's the person who's getting abused? Is it a family member or a friend? You don't have to be too specific, but I want to be a little more directive with my prayers, if at all possible. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna call it a night. Tomorrow we are gonna have, as long as the Lord wills, we're gonna have a broadcast late afternoon, a one-on-one discussion with somebody that I don't know anything about really, so it should be fun. It's titled "The Italian Sword of the Lord. And then we'll do the New Moon New Moon tunes. And just the reschedule of it. Tuesday night. Then Wednesday, I do have a discussion early evening with Rabbi Lewis. I gotta put that up. And then next Wednesday, we're gonna start the private discussion, private hangout. So if anybody wants to be part of that private hangout, if you want to hear it, if you just want to listen, you have to be part of it. You got to call in because it's not going to be recorded. It's not going to be replayed. So if you miss it, you miss it. But we are going to start doing it every week. So anybody who wants to be part of that discussion with us, just a live, or it is live to us. It'll just a private fellowship. Then email me and I'll send that link out. Not this Wednesday. We'll start that next Wednesday. We'll probably start at like 7 o'clock Central, 6 or 7 Central. So, I sent that to my brothers. Yes, guys, please keep Sarah's brother in prayer. She's trying to reach out to him, praying that he starts looking into the truth of Scripture, the reality of what's going on in this world. Right? I don't know. I don't know if they're Catholic or not. They might be Catholic because most Italians are. They want times. What times? Okay. What are you talking about? Oh, your time central. Jessica, what are you talking about? Time for next Wednesday, the private conversation. It'll be like 6 or 7 Central. So we'll find out. All right, Joe, email me. Everybody who wants to be part of the private conversation, email me and just put in the subject line, I want to be part of the private fellowship. And then I'll add you to that list. And then that list, I'll send out the link on Wednesday. And then if the link doesn't work, because sometimes some people's devices or something doesn't work, then you just let me know through the email and I can bring you into the conversation another way. So there's a couple different ways to get you in. The link is usually the easiest way, but it doesn't always work. If it doesn't work, just get a hold of me and I will get it done. Oh, tomorrow, Jessica, anytime. Tomorrow I have off all day. It's actually my ministry day for making phone calls, and I only have one phone call scheduled tomorrow. So, I'm pretty much open all day. So you let me know, Jessica. Just email me. You got my email. And what about Andy? Do I get to talk to him by chance? If he would, possibly. And guys, don't forget to keep Andy in prayers. That's somebody that Jessica's been talking to about Scripture. So, if anybody has any questions ever, or if you just want a fellowship, please email me. That's what this ministry is for. Whether it's fellowshipping with me, Paula, my wife, other brothers and sisters. If you want me to relay email addresses to you, we've facilitated that as well. So, and then also, guys, the website house2housechurch.com, house2housechurch.com, the number 2, housechurch.com. it's like our own little Facebook page. So you guys go sign up there. You can use it as a way to communicate even when the broadcasts are off. So you can make groups and have phone conversations and everything, or chat conversations. But Esteban, I am available tomorrow during the day. I've got a broadcast early evening, so tomorrow, anywhere from mid-morning to late afternoon, I am free. So he is stubborn. I I don't know if it's me, but I'm open all day if I'm the stubborn one. Esteban, I don't know if you're working tomorrow, but give me an email when you're able to talk, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. And yes, pray for Andy and Andy, Jessica, Daniel, and also Jason and his dad, if you guys don't mind. If you're throwing up prayers anyways. And I can say that throughout the broadcast, my stomach has been feeling better, so praise God, the bubblies have gone away. Hopefully I can sleep well tonight. And so, awesome, Esteban. If you're free tomorrow, that works out best. Oh, Andy is stubborn. I got you. Well, no worries. No worries, Jessica. You know what, Jessica? Have him. What you should do if you're like face to face with him sometime, talk to him and write down. Be like, what questions would you want to know? You know, don't tell him you're writing them down to send them to me, but just like go through, and then after you do, then send it to me. I would love to make a video on it. Then you could just give him the video. Then he'd have to be so extremely stubborn that he won't watch. What was house thing again to join? It is house to house church. Oops. All right, so you could copy that and put it in your browser and it'd come up. So that house to house church really, it really is a good site. I'm got it mostly built, but for the most part, it can be used for some fellowship and to connect with one another. So, Jessica, I'd be glad to do that for you and anybody. So, if anybody has, you know, a list of questions that they're talking with somebody and the person has a bunch of questions for them, just go ahead and write them down. Because if other people have these questions, then so do other people. And so if we can get some broadcasts out on them, then Lord willing to help others. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night, guys. You know, it's always a pleasure. It's always a joy fellowshipping with you guys. Remember, saints, keep Bryce in prayer. He seems to be doing very well. Keep Mike in prayer, or in our chat room here. For all these seekers, for Jessica too. Jessica, I don't know exactly where you are, but I don't think you're too far from the kingdom of God. Your understanding has grown exponentially since we've met. And that's all glory to God. It's not by me, the chat room. It's not by Daniel. It's not by you, Jessica. You've humbled yourself, and that's been a key component But all the things that you've learned, and even the things that you've been able to stand up for the gospel, they've all come straight from God. And I pray that you see that and you understand that too. But just stay with it. You've got a lot of people who care about you, who are praying for you, and you are in a place, where, um, like I said, we care about you and consider you friend, love you, and can't wait for you to be a sister. But uh, it's no rush. Just you're doing awesome. Don't forget to let me in the website. Are you, Jeff? Are you not in it? I'll double check to see if there's anything. But Jeff, I'll call you. If you got time to talk tomorrow during the day, let me know, and we can talk on the phone and try to work that out. Try to get you on that site. Anybody else has any issues getting on the site, just email me, and I will do my best to get it all worked out. So we've got broadcast scheduled all week. So guys, keep me in prayer for health and energy, and I can't thank you guys enough. I feel as if God has blessed me extremely to have such a fellowship with you guys. So I praise God, and I thank you. So have a great night. We will see you tomorrow if the Lord wills. Take care. God bless, and good night, everybody.